What's going on, y'all, and welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about the PlayStation 3 Doomsday. Now, not to scare everybody here, nothing's going to blow up, we're all good, but what will happen eventually is that the PlayStation 3 will no longer be supported by Sony. Now, this is going to happen in two parts, at least that's what I think is going to happen, so I'm going to explain those two parts. Part one will be when the PlayStation 3 store, digital storefront, shuts down. Sony already tried to do this back in 2021, and when that happened, everybody was scrambling to get their hands on some really nice PlayStation 3 games, and the value all went skyrocketing, basically. Luckily, over time, those values have gone down. So I expect that that will happen again sometime in the next 1 to 2 years, probably when the PlayStation 6 comes out. And then part two of PlayStation 3's Doomsday will be when the PlayStation 3 servers, all of it just gets shut down completely. So you won't be able to re-download your digital games, you won't be able to pull game updates for games that have updates available, and you won't be able to play online anymore. So let's go ahead and dive a bit more into part one. Now, the reason part one is so important, when that digital storefront shuts down, we're going to be cut off from a lot of really great games. Now, the most notable ones are going to be PlayStation 1 classic games. If you ever go on the PlayStation 3 store, I made a whole video about this where I spent $120 on PS1 classic games on the PlayStation 3 store, and I got the equivalent value if you were to buy those same games complete in box physically, $2,500. $120 or $2,500. That's a big difference. Now, PS1 games are just out of this world. They're unreachable, and it's really annoying. But, if you still want to play those games, you can go on that PS3 store and pay only $5.99 or just $6 for some of those games. And what's even greater about this is that some of those $6 games will then transfer over to your PS4 and PS5 if they are offered on there as well. And a big example of that would be like Resident Evil, along with a lot of other PS1 classic games. That has actually been expanding here recently. And this summer, Resident Evil 2 and 3, the classic games, are supposed to come out on the PS5 store. So if you already bought them back on the PS3 like I did, you should be able to just re-download them for free, which is awesome. Now, not only are there PS1 games, there's also a plethora of PlayStation 2 classic games that you can get on the PS3 as well as plenty of like PlayStation 3 games that you can get digitally for a pretty good price. Like a lot of their first party stuff is on there. A couple more obscure ones, like a lot of their collections, like the Sly Collection, Ratchet & Clank Collection, all those are available on there. Or even something like Alice Madness Returns here, which is like a $50 game. You can get that on the digital storefront for, I think, around $20 or so. So some good savings to be had there. So when that goes down, I'm hoping that you will still be able to pull game updates. Now, that's a pretty big deal because sometimes, especially nowadays, when you buy a game, there's usually nothing on the disc. Luckily, in the PS3 era, most of the game was on the disc, and there were updates only for like minor fixes or minor bugs. Now, it's still nice to be able to pull those game updates, and you can do that currently, and I'm hoping when step one or part one initiates and the store shuts down, we should still be able to download our digital games. We should hopefully still be able to play online. That one I'm not too sure about. And then the third one is hopefully we can still download game updates. That's part one, so that's not as scary. The store is going to shut down, you're going to lose access to those digital games, but you can still go out, you can buy the physical games, you can still pull game updates, you should still be able to download games you've already purchased digitally. Now, when part two happens, things are going to be a bit different. This is when PlayStation 3 will just be no longer supported by Sony, there will be no more servers, thus when you go to try to pull a game update, there won't be any game update to pull because the servers are shut down. And you may not even be able to download your digital games again. That one, hopefully, we'll see, but time will only tell. And that's the more scary one, but I think that will happen quite some time from now. I'd say more like 5 years to maybe even further. I'm not really sure. Only Sony knows that answer, so we'll see. So now I want to talk about what you can do to prepare yourself for this moment because, like I said, while everyone's looking at the shiny new Switch 2 and into the holiday season, no one's really looking at the PS3. You can dive into the PlayStation 3 library and pick yourself up some really good games along with the consoles. So, let me go ahead and start with the consoles. First off, there's 3 different revisions of the PlayStation 3, right? There's the original fat model, then there's actually a second fat model that loses the backwards compatibility along with some other things, and then there was the slim and super slim. Now, which one you should get, it's up to you. If you go with the original models, the backwards compatible models, which I have right here, this is the A and the B model, these will play PS2 discs natively, which is really good, but these will cost you a pretty penny. They can cost anywhere from $200 to $400, depending on, the condition of it, of course. and what's been done to it. The thing is, you really need to take care of these systems if you do go that route. If you buy like a PlayStation 3 Slim or a Super Slim, they do still break, but not as often as the original fat models. So you may go that route, but if you want to have like a console that can play PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, and PlayStation 3 discs, then the original backwards compatible model is not a bad one to go for, because I think as time goes on, when that storefront shuts down and even later on, like, these will be very expensive, so it's not a bad idea to go try to pick those up. Now, I may make a whole video talking about which one you should go with and kind of like really breaking it down in the future. Until that time, there are other videos online if you do want to get yourself a PlayStation 3. Now, next up, let's talk about some games. Now, I'm just going to give you some that I really recommend, because I think these are the ones that are a bit more obscure and I think are really cool. To start off with, let's go ahead and start off with two that I think are just really cool to own. So two games I really want to start off here that I think are really cool and obscure, and a lot of people may not know about, are two games that are unique mostly because they come with movies. Not only do you get your game, but you also get a movie included. The first one is Watchmen: The End Is Nigh. So this one, you're going to get a disc that has the game on it, which has like two parts, but it's, you know, it's one full game basically. And I think it's some sort of precursor to the movie. And then you'll get a second disc that comes with, it's a Blu-ray disc with the full movie on it. So as you can see, you get the one disc with parts 1 and 2 of the game, and then you get another disc that just has the director's cut of the movie, plus inside of here you get a bunch of little cool posters and whatnot, which is another cool thing. And this one does not go for a ton of money right now. The game itself isn't like amazing, but it is fun to play. It has like co-op, which I think is really fun to play, and definitely one I recommend, because you not only do you get a movie, you get this really cool case, you get a game. I mean, you get something that's kind of just unique that you don't see anymore, and you didn't see before this either very often. The other one is called Stranglehold. So what's cool about this one is there's actually two versions. You have to get the collector's edition if you want the movie. Now, what's cool about this one is that you get one disc, but on this disc you have the game, and then you also get the movie on the same disc. When you go to play the game, inside of the main menu, you can just start watching the movie. The movie is called Hard Boiled. So I think the game is a sequel to the movie. So that's just a really cool thing. That's two that I really recommend that I think will jump up in value significantly someday, and I don't think we'll ever see a re-release of those games. Now, some other games that I will recommend really quickly are some of the exclusives are cool to get. There's not a ton of them. One of them would be 3D Dot Game Heroes. This one is actually made by Atlas and From Software, or From Software is who made it, which, as you know, they made Elden Ring, which is a really great game, along with Dark Souls, who have, you know, really gone mainstream. So this is a really cool one that they did. It's more like 2D Zelda-esque, so if you never played it before, definitely recommend this one. This is a PlayStation 3 exclusive game. It was not on the Xbox. So another one I want to talk about is that this is the Sly collection, but this just kind of goes for in general. There's a Jack and Daxter collection. There's also a Ratchet and Clank collection. There's a Prince of Persia collection. There's a lot of other collections out there where you get like more than one game all on one disc. It's going to play better than, you know, these were PS2 games. It's going to play in HD. Another cool thing to take a look at. There's a lot of those out there as well. Next up are some of the more expensive titles on the system as well. One of those would be like Alone in the Dark Inferno. Really cool game, very unique. I really don't know how to describe this one. It's just a very unique experience. It feels very movie-like, and I definitely recommend you check it out if you haven't heard of it before. I believe there's an Xbox version, but the PS3 version comes with some extra features on it. So keep a lookout for that one. Another one would be like Alice Madness Returns. I mentioned earlier that this one was on the PlayStation 3 store. This one you can also get on the PC, but it's just a really great running game on the PS3, and it's really fun. I played it the other day, and I was like really like surprised at this one. One that I played a lot as a kid is the Simpsons movie. There's multiple versions of this game. This is probably the best version along with the Xbox version, but this one is just a phenomenal experience. It's like a play on just video games in general, so I really recommend that. Another one would be Silent Hill Downpour. This one doesn't run so great on the PlayStation 3, but I really enjoyed my time with it. It does have the 3D feature, so that's another cool thing. And so I don't want to go too in-depth on all things PlayStation, just more of like be on the lookout, look for games, like start like maybe building a card out or like making a plan of what you want to get for the PS3 before things like start to rise in value or whenever before that store shuts down. I just think it's a really good idea to do. You know, maybe look at checking out the PlayStation Move. I actually just bought this the other day and I'm looking forward to checking it out. I haven't tried it yet. I always did when I was a kid, so I'm really looking forward to just try that out and see how that is. I may make a video on that. We'll see. So yeah. That's just what I wanted to talk about today. You know, be on the lookout. Check out some of my other videos. I have a lot of PlayStation 3 videos on my channel already that go over more in depth that PlayStation 3 store and how it is connected to the PS4 and PS5 store in some ways. So let me know what you think down below. Let me know what some of your favorite PS3 games are. Let me know what your favorite iteration of the system is, and I'll talk to you in the next one.